Hey everybody, this is Sherry with CPR, Craft, Pray, Repeat, and I'm just going to share with you how I put together just a simple Get Well card, Thinking of You card, and I'm using the Bear Trio by my scrap chick, and I'm starting with the ground espresso, and I'm going around all of the edges of the dark brown pieces. Then I'm coming in with Vintage Photo and inking up all of the lighter brown pieces. Now I do the muzzle here, and I realize in a little bit that I forgot to do the little ears, so I do come back to the Vintage Photo and redo that. The brown paper is the dark brown paper is much thicker, and I really like working with it better, but I don't have a really heavy light brown, so use what you have, folks. That's what I'm doing here. And this is shaded Lilac Distress ink, and I'm just inking the edges of the balloon. This is for a friend of mine, and she has not been feeling well, and her favorite color is purple, so I decided to make the balloon purple for her. And I'm going to get out my Pan Pastels here, and at first I start with the magenta. And if you've listened to any of my videos, I'm colorblind. So I realized that this is not right. I can tell that it's not the right shade. So I switched to a darker color and use violet. And that works much better. And then I just go around the edges and blend that in to the shaded lilac that I put on, and I'm using a number 2 Filbert brush for this. That's what works for me. You use whatever you like, but I'm able to put the detail where the balloon would be pinched and stuff, so I like being able to do that with the Pan Pastels. And here I'm just getting ready to put the little eyes together. Now this SVG file actually only comes with the black piece, and I decided that I wanted the little bear to have some white behind his eyes, behind the black. And so I just enlarged one of the black pieces, turned it white, and then duplicated it so I had a set. Super easy, nothing fancy. And what I was erasing was that I had gotten some purple Pan Pastel on the white piece, and I just simply used my eraser from my pencil to take it off. And here is where I realize I didn't do the little inside of the ears. So I get the Vintage Photo out and I get started, inking them real quickly. I do have this sped up because I wanted you to be able to see everything, but I didn't want it to take forever. And, I wanted this video to be something that you could watch and then still have time to watch other ones besides mine. I love it that y'all watch my videos, but I know I'm not the most entertaining person in the world. Alright, so I start with the base or the front layer of my card, and I cut it down to an A2 size card front, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This is a piece of white paper that I laminated, and I'm going to use my MFT Cloud Stencil and Peacock Feathers Distress ink to make my cloud background, so that it looks like the little bear is kind of looking up at the cloud that's floating in the air. This is a real easy process. Now I wish I just used my Recollections 110-pound cardstock for this. I wish I had used a different paper because some papers blend easier than others. And this one wasn't the easiest to get the blend, but it still ended up looking nice when I was done, and I was happy with it. And I decided to do the clouds all the way to the bottom because you're really not going to see anything. It's only a part of the bear, so I don't really need any grass or anything like that. So I decided to make the clouds go all the way to the bottom. And I'm just taking a baby wipe and cleaning up my mess, making sure that I clean off and dry my stencil real good before I put it back in, the baggie that I keep it in. Now I'm going to start layering up all of my pieces, and this is super easy, nothing fancy. This is a really nice set called Bear Trio, and I will try to link it. It comes with a box as well as this piece and one other one, which I can't remember what it is right now, but there's 3 pieces in the set. So it's a really nice SVG file. And I'm just using my favorite glue, which is my art glitter glue. And I used my blending tool that I got from Little Acres Creation to do all the ink blending on. If you're wondering what that tool was, I love that thing. It's so much easier for me to hold. Absolutely love it. Now I'm just getting up my Stampin' Up! White pigment ink here because I had forgotten to ink the black around his nose. So I wanted to use some white there because my Distress inks, even the lightest gray is still too dark and it doesn't make much of a difference. So I like the way the white looks on the black right here. And when I glue my nose on, I don't line it directly up with the top of the little muzzle. I always just kind of pop it just a tiny bit over top of the muzzle. I think it makes it look a little more dimensional. And I just think it gives the bear just a tiny bit more character, so I really like it. And I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to put my eyes on here. So I don't have anything, the muzzle or anything glued down right now. So I'm just sliding them under because I want them to go just a tiny bit under the nose. I think it's cute because it kind of makes him look dum, da, 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 just like, oh, it's just another day in the neighborhood kind of thing. So I like the way it just seems to give them a lot of expression. So I'm using my black Pan Pastels, and I was gifted these little tools that I'm using there to put the Pan Pastels on. I believe they're actually used to adhere eyelashes in a beauty salon, but they work really well for these Pan Pastels because you can get, they just come in all different teeny weeny tips, so they're like perfect. So now I've got my titanium white one out, and I'm just putting a little hint of a shadow or gleam in the bottom of his little eyes there, using my little finger to kind of smudge it a little so it looks more just a little softer, and then using the regular eraser on my pencil again to make sure that he doesn't have any kind of unibrow thing going on there. My Micron 005 pen, and I draw all the way around his eyes with this. It just seems to give it a little more definition, makes everything looks like it sets back into his face, so it gives the illusion of depth, I guess is the best way to put it. And now I'm just drawing on my little eyelashes. It's really hard to see here on the camera, but in person it's totally adorable. I'm getting ready to glue my muzzle on now. And before I do that, I'm going to put that piece back on top of the card so I make sure that I have everything pointing in the, the correct direction, and lining everything up. Now I'm going to glue the whole entire head on. So I really like how this SVG file is made because it gives you it gives you a chance to know exactly where everything goes. There's no guesswork. And I'm just using my Stampin' Up! Chalks there to chalk his little cheeks and make them a little pink, giving him some eyebrows, nothing fancy. And my camera cuts out here in a few minutes. Excuse me. So you do not get to see me stamp on the balloon, but I did use a K. Andrew design stamp set called Scripture Sayings. Those have been discontinued, but I love the fact that they have scriptures, so that is what I used. And I'm just applying the little paw there that it's holding the balloon. And if you look close at the bottom of the purple on the balloon, you can see where I was able to put the detail in where the balloon piece would be held together there at the bottom with the string. I was able to use the mark or the paintbrush and put the detail in. I really liked how that looked. And so now I'm just getting ready to add my balloon, and it is a full front panel. So this design goes from the top of the panel to the bottom. It is an SVG file. It's on your Cricut, your Silhouette, whatever. So you don't have to make him this size, but this is the size that he came. I'm just using my Uniball Signo Broad Gel Pen to put the little dots on his eyes, little dot on his nose, and then just a few hints of where, you know, the light would be hitting the image. Super easy. Now I'm attaching this to the front of my A2 size card, and that is it. I struggled a little because I'm not used to using a full size panel for the front, but I get it on and it looks great. All right, everybody, thank you for visiting me today. Remember to practice your CPR, craft, pray, repeat. Thanks for visiting me. Love you all. Bye.